It was taken by force, got it back, went far side and low for the goal. And that might be the capper right there.
It's Barons. Matty B with a laser that gets to the back of the cage, and Bronxville has the lead again.
Fusco holding on. Numbers are there. Drops it off. Bounce shot and a goal. Connor Veracruz off a great assist from Fusco.
Back end to the man up. Ball is loose. The All-American has it. Austin Fusco running out of dodge. Fusco still has it on a stick. Austin Fusco is going to be aggressive here. Here's Fusco. Got it! Austin Fusco! The All-American puts it home.
We had a conversation. We were at a football event Friday night. I called you. You did an unbelievable job emceeing the event. And I called you, and you said, Fusco is going to make his presence felt in the championship. Yeah. How did you know?
Well, just because what we saw out of him in the semifinals.
Well, he was great in the semis.
You know, just climbing into the stands at the end of the semifinal. On Wednesday night, that wonderful scene where he jumped into his father's arms, and he just, Mike, listen, he's a lifer there. And when I say that, because he's a guy who stepped on the field day one as a freshman, you know, he's there for all 4 section championships, and you just knew Fusco was not going to go down without imposing his will on this game. And from the second he picked that ball up, I knew he was shooting it.
The interception he had in the semifinals
beautiful.
Was just incredible. And I think if you say Darien, Ridgefield, and St. Anthony's.
Can we play them again?
Exactly. And I think what that did, because I'm not going to lie to you, I said, yeah, okay, they could win a Section 1 title. But after they lost those 3 out of 4 games, it's done. There's not going to be. And you find out greatness when you're looking despair in the face. And Fusco, it sounds like, was the guy who said, let's go. Let's do this.
And it's the, you know, it now, you know, these things have a way of coming out after the fact. But, you know, Fusco would tell reporters that after those losses, they had sort of a closed-door, players-only meeting in which he put it on himself. I haven't been aggressive enough. I haven't wanted it enough. Okay? And neither have any of you. Okay? And let's go. And they did. So it's good stuff.
Are you surprised?
I'm not. I think I sort of dabbled around it all year with Yorktown. I thought they had a core group. You know, I think in lacrosse, to win a championship in New York State, you need a core group of guys that can kind of be electric at times. You know what I mean? And they seem to have that. They seem to have, you know, a little bit of balance. Even if it wasn't Veracruz's day, you know, you might have Palmadesso, you might have Davukai, you know, you might have Nicky B. You had a keeper that could get hot. I mean, they just had enough and a lot of good guys right down that roster.
When you talked to Mar getting ready for the championship, he admitted that it was, because I've been saying it all year, nobody cares about the 37 sectional titles at this point. You know, at Yorktown, and we'll show it later in the show, the amount of people that went to the game. Lacrosse means, it could be the lacrosse community in the tri-state when it comes to sheer enjoyment and pressure to coach. There was pressure on Dave Marr within that community to win this game.
Mike, there's a lot of great lacrosse towns in the tri-state. You know, there's a lot of towns where kids play in great numbers, where they have history. I tell you, I don't know if there's a town other than Yorktown where it's so much part of the fabric of people's mindset, of how they feel about the community. And Yorktown is one of those places. And the outpouring at Hofstra in both the semis and especially the finals was off the charts. It was absolutely off the charts. And it was a spectacle. It had a feel of a college football game, of like Auburn, Alabama. You know, it was only 1,800 of them.
Right.
But for that 1,800, that was as euphoric as any crowd I've ever seen. It's not just in victory. I'm talking about along the journey in the game. The first quarter, the second quarter. And, you know, the game, the final we're going to get to, it had to feel like they were going to run away with it, but hold everything. There would be drama at Hofstra.
Will there be room?
Room.
Yeah, room.
Room for what?
The thing on the scoreboard. Is there room to put another plaque on the scoreboard?
Oh, and you know, that's even a nice story, because Austin Fusco would tell us in the postgame that on Friday night after practice, Dave Marr, before they left, gathered everybody. They walked down to the scoreboard, and on that scoreboard listed those 6 titles they had won, the last of which was 2003. And he told the guys, focus on 2003. Let's put one next to it. And the team stood there looking at the scoreboard. It's a big part of the scoreboard there. They list the football championships and the lacrosse championships. You know what I mean? And that's where that was the final gathering on Friday night before they went home. Nice stuff.
You think as they walked off the field, they all kind of took a knee and said, Mr. Murphy, please help us.
Charlie.
Help us. You were a little down on Wednesday night, I'm not going to lie, when you saw Yorktown. You were.
What do you mean?
You were.
I wasn't down.
You were worried.
Worried?
Not about the team. You were worried about Coach's hat.
Oh, yeah. On Golden Pond? I used to, my quote was, did Dave Marr come here by bus or on top of an elephant? He looked like he was on a safari. It was classic. But you know what? He had a very distinct look, and it was funny, but it worked. And apparently it's his lucky hat, because he would wear it all weekend and good things happen.
Yeah, we'll show that hat a couple times. Do you think, I know this is going to sound bizarre, but the ride back home over the Throgs Neck, do you think, and I know it's a bizarre question because Long Island has devastated Dave Marr's, ledger. The last 6 times they've been bounced out since '03, they lost to a Long Island team. Do you think coming back home on Wednesday and Saturday, do you think they paralleled each other? The fact that, oh God, we finally got through Long Island.
Yes, no doubt about it. I mean, it's, watching Dave Marr and his coaches beating Lynbrook, that celebration was big because the realization was there. It's not like they've been runner-up since 2003, 3, 4, 5 times. They hadn't been there.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? So just getting there. And now we got past Long Island. Don't forget, we beat the man who beat the man who beat the man.
Right.
You know what I mean? We beat Lynbrook, who beat Manhasset, who beat Garden City. So you did conquer Long Island. You know what I mean?
And Marr's Cats in that New York State B semifinal fell behind 2-0. Just like that. Here we go. Last Wednesday night out at Hofstra, 1-0 Owls. And Joe Grassi, number 15, came out to play in this game. That jump shot made it 2-0 Lynbrook. It's 2-1 now, and Yorktown going to tie it up. Nicky Bonatanabis, the look to Connor Veracruz, tied it 2. Second quarter, here's Grassi again. They had no answer for Joe early on in this game. It's 3-2. Yeah, absolutely. 3-2 Lynbrook. Great individual effort here by your guy, Mike Davukai.
Davukai. Some guys just want to shoot the ball. Davukai is one of those guys, and we saw examples of it. And when he gets hot, he wants to take a few.
Yeah, he's going to have to ice his wrists after this game because he got into a rhythm and he was shooting. It's so tough. He kind of just lulled the defense to sleep, pulled him out, and you don't expect a thick body like this to be able to run by you. He did time and time and time again.
Davuka is one of those guys where he scores and punches. He's going to be quiet. Look at the Yorktown creativity there. Going to the backhand, a la Thompson brothers.
That made it 5-3. Del Benny right here working it. Going to find Ryan Baker. I don't know if that pass initially was going to Baker.
But this is the depth of the Yorktown program. Del Benny's had a great year. Baker going to UMBC. Guys making plays. And here's Fusco.
Yeah, that was the interception that I talked about. Look at the pole. Finding Veracruz left side, bounce shot. And they were feeling really good there. 7-3. And then Ryan Baker again. Beneficiary of some nice passing. Bonatanabis finds him top shelf open as the Huskers go on to win the game 9-6. Davukai, the hat trick in the game, and they could breathe that sigh of relief. 0 for 6. Finally, we get through Long Island for the first time in 11 years. And I don't care how good of a coach you are. I don't care how good of the parenting you do in being around your sons, or nothing you could say or do, because every one of these kids at Yorktown knew that getting through Long Island had been a big bugaboo. And I just think there are certain moments that when you get it done, you can, not that Jamesville DeWitt was going to be easy, as we'll show you in a second, but you could almost be like, okay, we're going to be okay.
I think you're ready to take on all comers.
Yes.
At that point. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now whoever's there, let's go. But it's, Mike, it's about beating Long Island for everybody, including Long Island. You know, the toughest thing for the Long Island teams is to get off Long Island. You don't think that the good folks from upstate, when their teams are running out to great, gaudy records, you don't think those fathers standing on the fence go, who's good in Long Island in Class B? Who's at this? You know what I mean?
No
They're
doubt.
always thinking
No
about
doubt.
everybody always thinks about Long Island.
Remember how the year started for you covering Yorktown when Mike's mom, Mrs. DeVukai, was yelling at you?
At Ward Melville.
Tell that story.
Because the Ward Melville PA guy was going, dead Vukaj on the goal, and she's the woman. I'm on a scaffold doing the game. She goes, "Excuse me, it's the Vukai," and I could hear her, but I'm talking on the air.
Right.
So finally, I got a second. McCabe was talking, and I go, I'm not the PA announcer. That's the. I'm on TV here, and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
She probably loves to hear you
But
talk
you know what?
now.
It created a little synergy in a weird
Absolutely.
way between me and Devukai.
Yeah.
I sort of had a little kinship with him at that moment.
Yeah, his mom loves to hear you talk, but she loves to hear this guy talk more.
What we did was Coach telling us to come out of the locker room, come out focused, because we know they're a great team. So we matched that and go above it, and it says on the scoreboard right there.
Yorktown hasn't won a state championship since '03. You have an opportunity. That was Coach Dave Marr's first year as the head coach. How great would it be to bring the state title back to Yorktown?
It'd be the greatest thing on earth. There's no other words for it. We haven't been here since '03, and now we have a chance to bring it back to Yorktown where it really belongs.
So the Vuk got it done.
He did.
Jimmy, Yorktown is about legacy. There's so many, huge names. We've gone on and on.
Yeah.
Marr, Colsey, Carcaterra, the
Nelson's,
whole thing.
yeah.
What did Luke Palmadesso do for himself this weekend, or this past week, as far as writing himself into the legacy of Yorktown lacrosse?
I think he put his signature on a title. So when they reference this year, this 2014, they will reference the work of Luke Palmadesso and what he did. It's an age of specialization, these unbelievable Fogo kids. And I think Luke Palmadesso would almost be insulted if you called him a Fogo.
Yeah.
Because he is so much more.
Yeah.
He's a 40
He's
plus
a player.
He's a 40-point Fogo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's as dominant as anybody else, all the Fogos out there. Plus, he's had over 40 points.
Type of guy you want as a teammate, I would think.
Yes, we're happy to be bringing him down the main line to Villanova.
Villanova's done.
But
that's
that's a tough ring of honor to crack. Okay, and just to be mentioned
Whoa.
as a great player, as Dave Marr did in talking of Luke, is just a compliment in and of itself.
You played baseball. You were one of the great Little League players of all time when you played for
Niagara Valley College.
Yeah.
What do they play after the basketball championship? One shining moment.
Yeah, you were one of the best. So you know what it's like to get that big first inning. Sometimes it's tough.
Yeah.
Yorktown had that big first inning, and
I
then
know.
it was like, ooh.
I know, and it was, the last time I announced Jamesville DeWitt in a state final was their coach Jamie Archer's first year in
Yeah.
'07, and we were doing the game on MSG Network. We went up to Syracuse, Cicero North High School, I think we were at, and John Jay had just beaten Huntington, snapped the win streak. The Bratton brothers, Nick Savastano, the head coach, with his brother.
I miss those Savastano
great guys,
Great
right?
guys.
Great guys. And that victory they had at Hofstra that day over Huntington is one of the great lacrosse victories of all time.
Huntington got selfish that day.
They did. They had a lead with under a minute. They took a bad shot, and Brian Douglas, I think, eventually won the game. But that being said,
Didn't they do the hidden ball trick that day?
the hidden ball
was
trick,
great.
right. So we're doing that game, and now the game starts out, and John Jay, boom, 1-0, boom, 2-0, boom, 3-0. We went to like the first commercial. We're like, oh, hope this is a game. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, if you're John Jay, you'll take it. You'll blow him out, no problem.
Sure.
And then they had a stick check, and there was a violation. There was the unreleasable penalty, and back came Jamesville DeWitt. Bomb, bomb, bomb. They tied the game. They never looked back. Jamesville DeWitt rolled to Jamie Archer's first championship, and it was kind of shades of that.
And the Arch almost did it again. Here we go. B championship, Jamesville and Yorktown.
Already up 3-0. Del Benny to Nick Bonitadabas to Matty Gonzalez. Look at Matty. Way to chip into the state final. It's 4-0 Yorktown, 4-0. But Jamesville DeWitt once, twice, 3 times, and when Ryan Durkin goes to Grayson Burns, this game was tied at 4. Burns is just a sophomore. And then Billy Strassman to Connor Veracruz. Oh, you were hoping Connor would get going in this game. So Yorktown had a 5-4 lead at the half. Most importantly, they never gave up the lead. Chris Alvarado here. Okay, the game was tied at 5. He makes it 6-5 again.
He had some big moments this year.
He absolutely did. And then Veracruz, they're up 1, boom, make it 2 in the third quarter. So they just kept adding that next goal. Nikki B to Nikki D. Bonatabas to Del Benny. It's 9-6 Yorktown. But here comes Jamesville DeWitt. Anthony DiGiovanni. Look at D. Rolls in. And then it's Brad Carr to Griffin Finer. But before that, you would have Austin Fusco. You saw it in the open. It's a 2-goal game, 10-8. 1-goal game, I should say. This will make it a 2-goal game, coast to coast.
They will put that as one of the biggest goals in Yorktown lacrosse history, right?
I mean, from 9-8 to 10-8 like that, and then here is Finer. And Finer, the all-time leading scorer, gets his first of the day. It's a 1-goal game, 48 seconds left. Palmadesso, he's won 18 face-offs. Number 19 would be legendary. Wins the face-off. He would get it to Veracruz, and watch Dave Marr here. 11 years of frustration out the window. Where's my son Liam? Here he is. Woo! Gotta love it.
Not often where you get the water dump smack dab in the chest. That was something, man. That Fusco goal and the Palmadesso win at X. Oh,
I mean, and it was Mike. It wasn't, 48 seconds is a long time. So even after Luke wins it, he then gets it to Veracruz. Now, Veracruz gets the ball with like 38 seconds left. And he gets on his horse, right? And he's doing a really good job on the carry here because the double teams are coming, the triple teams are coming. The clock goes from the 30s to the 20s. And he's got it, and he's going. And then he gets into trouble at about 15 seconds. And this is a brilliant coaching instinctive. Marr, boom, he gets the timeout with 13 seconds left before anything bad happens. Now you come in, you get a restart with 13 seconds. Very difficult on Jamesville DeWitt now because now Palmadesso has it. He goes on his horse. Good night.
Veracruz had the ball because Cool Hand won the faceoff.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't nervous. I was having a pretty good game, so I was feeling good. My coaches, teammates all had tons of confidence in me, so I knew if I could get this ball, put it in a really good position for us to win the game, and that's what I did.
I got no words for this right now. I mean, the core group of guys that we got, the seniors, and obviously everybody on the team, we've been talking about this for years now. It's just surreal. The fact that we put in the work and we finally accomplished it. Come so close, years past, but we finally got it done. I just can't even believe it, what's going on right now.
How long do you think Fusco's going to keep that hair like that?
I think he should ride it out for a while now.
Really?
Yeah, because you know what? Then people, if he's in the summertime now, if people comment, hey, you got crazy hair, he can go, well, I did it for our postseason this year. Oh, yeah, how'd the postseason turn out? State champs.
Now, that's like a crop of hair, right?
What do you mean?
It's like a whole bunch of hair, right?
Like a crop, yeah.
What's this crop stuff? What do you know about that?
About the crop?
Yeah.
That's the fans.
They're crazy.
As good as it gets, they showed up. They were electric. I mean, look at I think the whole student body was there, which is such a great tribute to the folks of Yorktown. Not only the community, but just these kids. They were electric from day one. And Mike, they had a little theater to them because not only were they just chanting, but then all of a sudden in the second half of this game, they had a little trick up their sleeve. Watch this one. The folks in Hofstra must have been like, "What is going on? Look at the husk of corn dancing in the middle there."
When the corn is dancing, you got things going.
I mean, they had confetti cannons. I thought that was a smoke bomb. I was going, they're lighting smoke bombs in the stands. These poor kids are going to be in trouble.
So Dave Marr probably got home, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the morning after a nice little celebratory glass of soda. And what was he doing the next morning with Liam?
I spoke to him on Friday. He told me, win or lose, Jimmy, I'm coaching my son at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Does it get any better than this?
He still had the hat.
He wins the title on Saturday, wakes up at 7 in the morning on Sunday, and this is moments before he would coach Liam's 9-year-old team. It was the Charlie Murphy Cup weekend at Yorktown. My girls played there on Saturday. Dave Mars and the boys played there on Sunday, and there was Dave Marr doing what he does, coaching lacrosse that next Sunday morning.
You know who Bronxville was into this year? Like, you know who their favorite team was all year? Cazenovia. They wanted them to win and win and win. And if they could keep winning, and Bronxville could, there would be a chance that those guys would play in a rematch of last year's state final that Cazenovia won 13-11. And it's funny, getting ready for this little show, I think back to how Pleasantville almost came back in the Section 1C title and put a damper on what would have been a devastating loss.
Yeah.
Pleasantville played them tough, but in the end, Bronxville goes on to win the championship.
Yeah.
How'd they do it? Well, the second year in a row, they beat a team from Long Island in the C semifinal. Last year it was Shoreham Wading River. This year it was Babylon, and a bunch of terrific players for Babylon. One of them, Nick Santarelli, bound for Army, head up, going to find Ray Wardell. He's going to go to Navy. That would tie the game at 1. That's so nice when Army and Navy can get along. Now Bronxville going to take the lead. Will Duncan off the rebound. Number 37 stays low, and it's 2-1 Bronxville. Second quarter, Henry Grass. Everyone knew about him, but if you didn't on Long Island, you do now. He put on a show at Hofstra in the semis and the championship.
Oh.
Andrew Harwood, I told you he was
Sophomore.
a good goalie. The clear to Grass, Grass to Barons, Barons to Crawford, and then
Barons finished it.
yeah, he sure did. Boy, I tell you what, when this team got healthy, that was not good for the state of New York. Babylon would not go away. They played really hard, and they trailed just 4-3 after that goal. It's now 5-3. Ted Forst, I'll tell you, man, he had a very good year.
The junior heading off to Yale. He'll be back next year.
Had a very, very good year. 7-4 now when Grass, he had an 8-point day. Look at the feet. Stays out of the crease, just dunks it in. That made it 8-4. Now time running down in the quarter off the face-off. Owen Jones going to Yale. Had a really, really good year for Horgan and the boys. And there it is, Crawford.
What a dodge, face dodge to get to the cage.
1 second left. This is where they put this. This was a close game, and they'd get 3 goals. I think it was in 19 seconds. Crawford again. End of the third. They put it away right there.
Firepower, Mike. 3 goals in less than 20 seconds. That is epic in a championship setting.
And one thing you see about Henry Grass, when you look at him, he's a great-looking kid, and then when you see him after the game with his helmet, he is a big, big man. So they go on to win the game. Grass, spectacular. In the middle of the year, missed games, concussion. They lost a couple games when he was out. He's healthy. Barons is healthy. And Grass was talking with that cheesy mustache after the game.
One step at a time, but definitely that was in the back of our minds. Can't wait to, maybe we play Cazenovia again. Heard that it's a tight game against Penn Yan right now. So now we got to take the state title.
You guys are clicking on all cylinders. You're back. How proud are you to be back?
Definitely proud. At the beginning, like the whole year, we haven't had our starting attack. So, me, Barons, and Crawford are clicking right now. So it's awesome. Our whole team, from starting from the goalie and up, just playing well right now. I love it.
He is going to. It's amazing to think he's going to be back next year. And after we get through the championship highlights, we're going to throw some challenges out here to Bronxville. Cazenovia.
Matchmaker?
Yeah, they ran it 34 in a row into this game.
Amazing.
As we said, they ended Bronxville. Bronxville was 22-2 a year ago. The 6 losses, like you said before, the guys leaning on the, hey, I wonder what they're doing.
Right.
I guarantee you the guys upstate were smart enough to realize, do not get consumed with those 6 losses that Bronxville had, because if you know anything, 4 of those 6 losses were to tri-state royalty.
They traveled all over the tri-state.
Yes,
they went to New Jersey, played Bridgewater Raritan. They went to Connecticut and played Greenwich.
Yep.
They went to Long Island. They went everywhere, Mike.
Yep.
They played Sachem North on Long Island. It was the most decorated schedule from when you talk about locations that anybody had.
Yeah, forget that they were a Class C. You take that non-conference schedule that Horgan put together, it's as good as anybody's in the tri-state this year, but the one place they wanted to be more than anywhere was in Hempstead, Long Island on Saturday, June 7th.
Here we go.
Rematch.
The rematch, and they knew what they were all about. Will Duncan has played 92 games in his career, and he gets a goal in the state final to tie the game at 5 to the third quarter. Liam Lynch. This was right off the face-off. Double L Express. And Lynch and Owen Jones were awesome at the face-off X. Game is tied at 7. And look at this, Mike. Cole Willard. This dude was great. Sophomore. The game is 9-7 Casanova. 9-7 Casanova. But guess what? This is the run for the Roses. First, it starts with a little pressure up on the keeper. Behrens pressures the keeper into a little mistake. So they get that goal. Then it's Henry. Look at Henry Grass. A crease crash. And it counts. Ties the game at 10. And then Matt Behrens. He had double hip surgery in November. Never thought he'd play high school lacrosse again. And look at him go. Behrens makes it 11-10. His third of the second half. And then it's Grass to Crawford. Oh, wow. They're up by 2, 12-10, and then Will Duncan. You want to talk about a championship finish, Mike? They finished the game on a 5-0 run after being down 10-8. What a moment for Bronxville for their first ever state championship. I mean, that is how you want to finish it out.
Well, the grass is always greener, huh? 15 points in the semis and the championship.
Amazing. Amazing.
It is really, really amazing. So you can imagine afterwards, the Bronx were pretty excited.
All season we were getting ready for this game, and obviously I've had a personal up and down with the surgeries and stuff like that. But you know, this made it all worth it. You know, all those sessions, you know, grinding it out. This was well worth the wait. I mean, losing that game stung obviously very deep within us, and you know, as soon as we were done with that game. You know, we knew this was the game to come back to, and this was what was in our sights the whole season. So to come back and actually win this game was just a dream come true for us.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we've never played a schedule that hard, so it was great to be battle tested, and we knew that come playoffs we were all going to be healthy, and it's awesome that we got clicking. Me, Behrens, and Crawford at attack, so it's awesome, and can't wait. You know, I have another year, so hopefully we're back here.
Yes, he does. He's got a little Josh Brolin in him, the actor. No Country for Old Men, but you know what? We just saw Yorktown.
Is there a show that we do where you don't bring up a movie?
Let me bring up one more movie, okay? Rudy. Remember the scene in Rudy when all the players come in and put their jerseys? Like Coach Devine, he could have my jersey, and Coach Dan Devine, the actor, looks at him and says, "You're an All-American. Act like it, okay?" Well, the All-Americans acted like it. Grass. Fusco, Palmadesso, all three of those guys are All-Americans. And boy, you could tell on Super Saturday at Hofstra.
You see what Grass said about the demanding schedule and stuff? I want it to be even harder next year, okay? Like we were texting back and forth yesterday, Horgan, and I said to him, go call up Coach Lambert at Smithtown East. Play that game next year. I want that game. You know, so if you have to drop a couple of teams, you're going to have to drop a couple. You know, give away Mayapack to go play Smithtown East. Absolutely.
Oh,
that would be with what Smithtown East has coming back, with what Bronxville has coming back. You right there, you play that game in mid-April, you could be looking at potentially 2 champions from 2015. This season's over, man. I'm worried about next year. But is it over? It is as far as games. But how about this?
Nothing is over until we have decided it.
Yes, and we will tape this next week. The All-Metro, Clark is going to be by. We had a long conversation today, and we talked about that. So that'll air on the 19th, and then the top 20. Is it possible that for the first time this year, well, we had Iona Prep in there for a cup of coffee, so we had 2 Hudson Valley Section 1 type teams in the poll. Is there any way that there's 2 teams from Section 1 in the poll tomorrow?
Is there any way that there isn't those 2 teams? There better be.
Really?
Yes, there better be. There better be. And
so you think Bronxville deserves to be in there?
Yes. Bronxville can play with anybody.
Really?
Let's just put that right out.
Let me ask you this.
Don't get all caught up in the letters A, B, C.
If Bronxville played Yorktown tomorrow, now they lost to them 13-10 earlier this year.
Battle
How great
Royale.
would that game be?
Battle Royale. And by the way, Bronxville, you had Casanova last year, you had him this year, you're going to have him next year because Cole Willard, the sophomore going to Penn State, back. You know, we had P.J. Brown, the junior going to Loyola, back. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys. Jake Lewis, a sophomore, back.
I heard Liam Lynch and Owen Jones played well at face-off in that game, too.
They did, man. Listen, Bronxville, in the end, put it all together, Mike. And that was a wonderful reflection for their feeder programs, their youth programs. Coach went out of his way to say all those fathers, dads, coaches, moms, dads, all those times bringing these kids together as youngsters. It paid off. First ever title.
Morgan told me at the Greenwich game this year, they were better than last year. He was right.